Hello, Year 6. So welcome to our reading session. Today we're going to do two of your reading lessons that we normally do over 2 days in one session, because it's a little bit different when you guys are doing it at home, and I think it won't take you too long to do. So we're doing it this way instead. So we're going to start off with our bit by bit. Now, all the resources that you will need for this lesson are on the school website. There's one that will be called Bit by Bit, which is the bit you'll need first, and then we'll be doing Fluency straight after, which is called Fluency. So just make sure you've got those in front of you because you'll need them to be able to read the book. Okay, so make sure you've got that in front of you. Brilliant. Okay, now if you finish with that, on the board in front of you, I'd like you to answer these. I would like you to tell me, what have we found out in the story so far? So you could write this down on a piece of paper in front of you now. So just tell me anything that's happened in the story so far. Off you go with that task. Okay, if you've done that, let me have an explain of what's happened so far. So far in Floodlands, Zoe, with Zoe's our main character. It's a very dystopian world. It's set sort of in the future where there's been global warming, there's mass flooding, and everything is very different to how it is now. Zoe's from a place called Norwich. Norwich is now underwater. And it's completely cut off from the rest of the mainland. Her parents and her try to get on a boat at the start of the story in a flashback scene, but her parents went on a boat without her. They went back to the mainland and they left her alone on Norwich, on this island of Norwich. Later on in the story, she then finds her own boat and she decides to set out to go to the mainland to find her parents and to find out what happened to them, because she's been abandoned for some time. Unfortunately, she ends up on an island, the island that is on the front cover here. This one in the distance. Or she ends up on Eels Island, which has got a cathedral on it, and it's run by a person called Doobie. Now, Doobie is also a child, and he's in charge of all the people on the island. And it turns out that he is not a very nice person. And in fact, he's quite cruel to Zoe. And although he doesn't kill her, even though the other characters suggest that's what he's done to other people, he doesn't kill her, but he does threaten her. And he does say that she has to do what he wants. And what we've just found out about, is that he wants to escape the island because he says the island is a sinking ship. And what he means by that is there is no hope for this island. There is no food left. The people there are desperate, and it's only going to get worse on there. Now, Zoe is horrified by the thought that Doobie wants to abandon all of these people and to escape. And she's rather desperate herself because she doesn't want to be on this island. It's not a safe place, and it's not where her family are. And she's desperate to find her family members. And that's where we got up to so far. So it's Zoe's trying to... she had a little conversation with Munchkin, one of Doobie's allies, one of his friends, trying to convince him perhaps to tell her where her boat was. She was a little bit concerned in the last bit we read whether or not he would tell on her, and we don't know yet what's going to happen with that. So let's have a little look at what we're doing today. So today we're going to do some bit by bit. Now, as I said, you've got these extracts that are online, so you can use them. You need to get some colouring pens in front of you and some felt tips of any kind. I've put the colours as red, purple and green, but if you don't have those colours, that's fine, just use different ones. And like before, you know how we do it in class, when you make yourself a little key so you know which colour is for which. So what you're going to do now is on your extract, on that first page there where it says 7, you're going to go through, you're going to read it carefully, you're going to underline any words you don't know, write any questions you've got down the side of the page, and then summarise the paragraph or summarise the page at the end. So you've got a couple, as long as you want now. Pause this video and please have a go at doing that. Okay then, so let's have a look at it. So I had a go at this on the next page just to show you what it's supposed to look like. So I'll read it all through for you. Zoe fell at a dead end. She wanted to escape, but she didn't want to escape with Doobie. She knew that the second she stopped fitting into his plans, her life would be at risk. She didn't know where Leica was. She didn't even know where she was. Her only hope was to work on Munchkin. If she could just find out where her boat was being kept, then she had a chance. In the meantime, she decided to at least try and find where the island was. Then her compass would be of some use when she came to get away. There was only one person Zoe felt like talking to, William. And Doobie had said William knew everything there was to know, so she went looking for him. He had also said William was mad, but Zoe had few choices. As she went, she saw Munchkin creep out from Doobie's room. She hoped he hadn't said anything to Doobie that she'd asked about her boat. She'd been stupid to say anything at all. Munchkin could have told him anything by now. So as we went, I underlined some certain things. So one of the things I underlined that I wasn't sure whether or not we'd all understand is this little phrase here. Her only hope was to work on Munchkin. And I underlined that because I wasn't sure whether or not we'd understand it. And what it means by that, to work on Munchkin, is see if she can change his mind and convince him to help her. Because at the moment, Munchkin is on Doobie's side and she wants to work on him to convince him to help her escape this island. And that's what she wants. I also underlined here, in the meantime. So while she's waiting for Munchkin to change his mind, it means at the same time. So while she's waiting for him to change her mind, his mind, she's also going to carry on looking for the boat or find out where her island is, where she is right now. Another thing, we've got a compass. So a compass, it's one of her treasured possessions, one of the only things she's got from her parents. And a compass helps you to direct yourself, to know where you are. So with a compass, the arrow always points north. So it always points to the N. So it spins and points wherever north is. Then you turn your compass around so the N matches where the arrow is. And this helps you to find out which way you're going, because then once your compass is pointing north, you can work out whether or not you're walking in an easterly direction, west or south. So it helps you to direct yourself. There's this bit here where it says Zoe had few choices. Zoe had few choices. And what it means is Zoe doesn't really have any other options. So she can only talk to William because she doesn't have any other options. There is no other choices for her to make. There's no one else she can talk to. She can only talk to William, even though he's a little bit mad and a little bit crazy. Now there's a little bit here and it says Munchkin creep out from Doobie's room. So creep means to sneak. So if you creep out something, you sneak out. Okay, so trying to do something without being seen. There's one that I didn't underline actually, but it's right at the start. And I actually think it's one that we might struggle with. She felt at a dead end. She says she feels like she's at a dead end. So if you think about what a dead end is when you go down a road and there's nowhere you can go from there. You've got no options. And that's how Zoe's feeling right now. So if we think about that, Zoe's feeling like she's got no choices. She's got no options. And because if you carry on reading, she wants to escape, but she doesn't want to escape Doobie. She's got no option. She's at a dead end because she can't escape. She doesn't want to go with Doobie. There's no choice for her. She's got no options. She's got no sort of hope at the moment for what she wants to happen. And that's why she feels at a dead end. She feels like she can't get anywhere from here, that she can't make any progress with what she wants. Right, so in purple, I wrote some questions that I sort of thought as I was reading through. So let's see what questions I came up with. I thought, will Munchkin change his mind and help her? And I was kind of curious about this. I was curious whether or not we thought Munchkin might want to help her, because we know Spat, who's Doobie's other friend, he's a lot more violent, isn't he? He beat up Zoe and he was very cruel to her. Whereas Munchkin seems a little bit more scared, and she described him as like a mouse, didn't she? So maybe Munchkin's more likely to change his mind. Maybe not. Maybe he's too scared of Doobie. I don't really know. What have we got down here? Has Munchkin told Doobie? So it ends saying Munchkin could have told Doobie everything by now. But we don't know if he did. Do we think he would? I'm interested to see what you think. Do you think they would tell on Munchkin would tell on her to Doobie, or do we think that Munchkin would keep her secret? I don't know. See what you guys think. What other question have we got? Why is Munchkin creeping out of Doobie's room? So this is something I was wondering. It says here, as she went, she saw Munchkin creep out of Doobie's room. Now, to creep means to sneak and to mean that you're trying not to be caught. If Doobie knew that Munchkin was in his room, there would be no reason to sneak. So why is he sneaking? That suggests to me that perhaps he is up to something. Is he up to something? Is he doing something he's not supposed to be doing? Something that will make Doobie cross when he finds out, I wonder. So then let's have a summarise of this page. So what happened on this page here? So Zoe needs to get off the island. She's waiting to see if Munchkin will help her or tell Doobie about a plan. That is all this page is about. So this page is, she's sort of waiting. It's a bit of an in-between stage. She can't really do much at the moment except for talk to William, which hopefully we'll find out a little bit more about on the next page. So I hope you've got something similar. If you've underlined words that I haven't, then a good thing you could do now is you could go online and you could search the meaning of those words to find them out and then write them down on your piece of paper like we would do at school. So could you please do that for me now? Good. When it's all done, we can move on to the next bit. If you're not quite done yet, just pause until you're finished and then you can move on with me. Right, the next page then. So the next page is here. So I would like you to have a little go at doing this page now. So you need to read it through. It is online, like I said. Read it through, underline anything you don't know, any questions you've got that it sort of causes you to think about, and then just summarize the paragraph at the end, or summarize the page at the end, okay? Off you go with that now. Okay then, so if you've finished with that, we're going to move on now and I will show you the one that I've done. So this one on the next page is the one that I've made. So we'll read it through. So the island was small anyway. She'd find her boat soon enough, given the chance to look for it. Now I underlined given the chance to look for it. So I wondered if you knew what that means, given the chance to look for it. So if you're given the chance, it means if she's got time, if she's got the opportunity to look for it. So what she's saying in this little section here is she's saying is that the island is not that big. It's only a small island and there's only so many places her boat could be hidden. So if she gets the opportunity, if she gets a chance to look for it, she will definitely find her boat. Okay, brilliant. So, and when she did, she wasn't going to hang around. So I underlined hang around. So what do we think that means? So hang around means to wait around. She doesn't want to wait around. Okay, so let's see if I got that. So stay. So she's not going to wait around. She's not going to stay. As soon as she's got her boat back, she is going to be off. Okay, so she found William sitting alone as usual in one of the side chapels. The multicolored light from a stained glass window. I believe under here we'll have a picture of a stained glass window. So that's a stained glass window there for you. Fell across his face. He looked like something from a stained glass window himself. Fortunately for Zoe, he was in one of his more normal moods. So normal mood means he's sort of acting. He's not acting strange. He's not acting weird. He's acting in a way that is quite normal. He was reading a battered old book. Its cover was torn, but the rest of it seemed all right. Hello again, Zoe, he said, and he patted the stone bench. She sat down next to him, but he kept on reading. Zoe tried to think of something to say to get him talking. What are you reading? She said. This is my favourite book, William said. Zoe was getting nowhere. Why? She asked. Oh, well, the man who wrote these poems has the same name as me. Funny, isn't it? He went on reading for a moment and then suddenly shut the book. Zoe jumped. So, what can I do for you? William asked. Zoe sighed with relief. How do you know I want something? People generally do when they come to talk to you. No time for small talk, is there? So I underline small talk. So small talk, it means pointless conversations, like little conversations, not like about important things. Conversations about sort of everyday things like, how are you? Or what did you do today? How was work? Those are sort of your small talk, not very important conversations. No, said Zoe, I suppose not. Well, it's just that I don't know where I am, and I don't know where my parents are, or if they're even, I don't know what to do about Doobie, and I don't know where my boat is. So that is the end of this page here. So I did put together a few little questions. So I don't know what yours are, but these are the questions that I've put together. So we've got why has Zoe chosen William to talk to? That's one of the questions I thought of. And then when I think about it now, I can almost answer it myself anyway. Why has Zoe chosen William to talk to? Well, because he's someone that's nice, that she can trust to talk to. And although he's a bit strange and a bit weird, I think he's probably the only one there that Zoe trusts. Zoe trusts isn't going to backstab her or treat her badly. And then what book is William reading? That's another question I've got, because he said it's by someone with the same name, so William someone, but we don't know who that is currently. So this is the first bit that you should have done today. I want you to finish off this. Any bits that you don't know the meaning of, can you please look online and find the words? And I would like you to send me finished pictures of this to me, and then we're going to have a look at fluency. Okay, so when you finish that, let's have a go at fluency. Okay, fluency then. So this is our reading fluency. So normally we would do me read a little bit and then we read it together and you read it by yourself. It'll have to obviously be slightly different because of the way that we're doing this. So I'll read it out first and then I might read it out again and then you can try and join in the second time round, okay? Right, said William. I see. I mean, I'm just fed up. Why does everything have to be so difficult, so scary? Said William. I mean, why is this even happening? What? The sea rising? Well, I thought I told you about that the other night. Zoe paused, not wanting to offend him. She said, oh, I know, but I mean, when did it start? Will things always be like this? Ah, said William. Well, Zoe, it started a long time ago. I was about your age, I suppose, when it began. Back then, you could walk from here in any direction for 50 miles and not meet the sea. Have you lived here all your life, then? Of course, said William, as if it was obvious. But Zoe knew that a lot of people must have come and gone, been made to come and go on the island in that time. Do you mean there was no sea between here and Norwich? Norwich? That's where you're from, isn't it? That's right. You could drive there, in a car, I mean, in an hour or so. Zoe's parents had told her about cars. Their remains littered every street in Norwich. Didn't anyone tell you this before? Yes and no, said Zoe. My parents told me about a lot of things, but mostly stuff I needed to know about. How old would your parents be? I don't know, really. About 40, I suppose. Why? They'd just about remember things properly then, before the sea came, I mean. Even then, it was a while before it got really bad. Okay, so I've had a go at reading it. I'm going to try and read it again. And then while I'm reading it again, you join in, okay? So it's obviously a little bit strange because it's different to how we would normally do it, but just have a go. So I'm going to read it again for you all. So, right, said William. I see. I mean, I'm just fed up. Why does everything have to be so difficult, so scary? Said William. I mean, why is this even happening? What? The sea rising? I thought I told you about that the other night. Zoe paused, not wanting to offend him. She said, oh, I know, but I mean, when did it start? Will things always be like this? Ah, said William. Well, Zoe, it started a long time ago. I was about your age, I suppose, when it began. Back then, you could walk from here in any direction for 50 miles and not meet the sea. Have you lived there all your life then? Of course, said William, as if it was obvious, but Zoe knew that a lot of people must have come and gone, been made to come and go on the island in that time. Do you mean there was no sea between here and Norwich? Norwich? That's where you're from, isn't it? That's right. You could drive there, in a car, I mean, in an hour or so. Zoe's parents had told her about cars. Their remains littered every street in Norwich. Didn't anyone tell you this before? Asked William. Yes and no, said Zoe. My parents told me about a lot of things, but mostly stuff I need to know about. How old would your parents be? I don't know, really. About 40, I suppose. Why? They just about remember things properly then, before the sea came, I mean. Even then, it was a while before things got really bad. Okay, so we've done that bit together. You can have a go at pausing this and doing it by yourself if you wish, but I know that your favourite thing to do is speed reading. So I want you to do a speed reading task for me now. So on the website, you have got all of this. So I want you to do some speed reading. So speed reading, if you've forgotten what it is when you give yourself a minute to see how many words you can read. Now, in a minute, I'd be expecting, if you read it all out loud, for you to read up to about maybe here, about halfway. Sometimes it's different if you read in your head. You do read more in your head. So normally we do different times, okay? I'm obviously not going to film all that because it would just be me sitting by myself, but I would like you to have a go at it at home and then tell me, write me an email and send me how many words you managed to get in a minute. I'd be really impressed to find out. So you've got this page and I believe you've got one more page, okay? And it's all on your document that is on the school website. So see how much you can now read, okay, in a minute. So set yourself a minute timer, have a read and then pause it, stop timer and then do it again, okay? And then do that as many times as you want. I'd do it at least 3 or 4 times, okay, to make sure you've read it all because we need to be keeping up so we can be ready for when we get back into school. Okay, right then, that's the end of reading. Have a very nice rest of your day and I will speak to you very soon. See you later. Bye.